Let's have a quick conversation about chargebacks. And it's important if you are running a retail operation or you're running any kind of business operation, you need to understand the impact of chargebacks not only on your revenue but also on your reputation as a business enterprise. Okay, so here's an overview I want you to think about. So if you are a business owner, one of the largest challenges related to processing payments is a chargeback. So a chargeback really is a situation wherein a cardholder disputes a transaction with their card provider. This can happen for a variety of reasons, including fraud, consumer mistakes, product quality issues, and more. And this really has a direct impact to your revenue, to your bottom line when you really think about it. And as I said a little earlier, it has an impact also on your reputation because payment processors, they don't like merchants. They have a large amounts of chargebacks. What happens here is that when a chargeback occurs, a business owner can lose money from the transaction and risk losing their merchant account with their payment processor. And merchant account providers view chargebacks as evidence of fraudulent business practices, and they consider closing accounts with high chargeback rates because they are incurring fees too. I mean, they're incurring a lot of cost as well, so they want to cut their risk quickly. When we talk about chargebacks, we have three elements here. We have the elements of geography, the elements of chronology, and the elements of demographics. So that's how merchant account providers actually analyze chargebacks. So when we talk about chronology, for instance, they look at timing. Are the chargebacks happening around a specific time or throughout the year? And when they analyze demographics, they want to see what kind of demographics are being affected by the chargebacks, or in other words, what kind of demographics are initiating the chargebacks. Are they young people? Are they senior citizens? Are they adults in general? It's important for merchant account providers to have granularity, to have granular details around those aspects, around those metrics. And the third criterion is chargebacks are analyzed geographically. So if chargebacks are coming from a specific location, that tells a merchant account provider of a fraud or any situation, any problematic situation happening in a specific location. So those are the three criteria I want you to pay attention to when you analyze your chargebacks. Let's talk about the reason why chargebacks happen. It's important to really understand that when you have a clear understanding of why chargebacks happen, you as a business owner, you can try to put controls in place to avoid those situations from ever happening again or from happening in the first place. So chargebacks happen for various reasons, and some are much more sinister than others. So I want to quickly talk to you about the most common reasons chargebacks occur in businesses within the United States, because when we talk about chargebacks, every country has different rules and different conditions and different situations happening, but we are focusing now on the United States. Okay, first of all, you have credit card fraud. So unsurprisingly, many chargebacks requests are legitimate. So if someone's credit card is stolen and the thief uses the card to process transactions, the cardholder will likely file a chargeback to request the stolen money. Likewise, if a business fraudulently charges a credit card, the cardholder can file a chargeback. So bottom line here is that a chargeback can occur because of fraud. I mean, we know you probably heard also about something called the dark web, where credit card data and consumer data are bought and sold in batches. And this happens when hackers are successfully infiltrating the databases of legitimate businesses and stealing people's data, right? So you have an entire business model that's based upon selling and buying customer data. So you can have credit card fraud. You can also have customer fraud or friendly fraud. In some cases, a customer may make a purchase and then request a chargeback to recuperate their money. This is actually a common type of fraud that can leave a merchant out of money while the customer receives a refund and the product. And while the name suggests the friendly fraud, it is harmless. It is not. It's important to mention that it is not harmless, because when you have a friendly fraud, you're thinking, well, this is a harmless fraud. No, this is not a harmless fraud. This is a very harmful fraud, and it can cause severe damage to if you are a business owner. It can actually cause severe damages to your company's finances. I mean, aka your bottom line, your revenue, your income statement, your P&L. Okay, so customer fraud, friendly fraud, are really prevalent in some industries, are more prevalent in other industries than others. So you want to put controls in place to make sure this doesn't happen to you. Other reasons why chargeback occurs: you have unclear product descriptions and policies, and this is really prevalent when it comes to e-commerce, for example. So if you don't clearly state product descriptions, shipping policies, return policies, and other core details, a customer may have a right to request a chargeback. You need to make sure your product descriptions and policies are accurate, and the law is really clear about that. And we've seen we have seen jurisprudence happening around e-commerce practices where the courts have actually awarded customers chargeback requests because the policies and policies and other policies and similar conditions are not clear enough. The customer needs to make sure that basically everything is clear. Remember, the burden of proof is on you. You as a business owner, the burden of proof is always on you to clarify things from the get-go. The customer is trying to really, as long as the customer is doing something in good faith, they are entitled to a chargeback. Another reason why a chargeback occurs is actually through mistakes. Sometimes a customer can make a mistake and file a chargeback. This typically occurs when a customer doesn't recognize your business's name on their transaction history and believes their credit card number has been stolen. This happens in some industries where you have a company that actually has a DBA, a doing business as. So the name that a company uses generally is kind of different from the name the name it is incorporated under, right? So doing business is different from the actual name of the business. So when when you have that delta, the consumer actually might be confused and might file a chargeback just to get his or her money back. That's why it's important to really specify to clients that your business actually operates under a different name for credit card processing or debit card processing than the name is known as. Then it is DBA. Once you make that clarification, and customers are pretty clear as to who is charging them, that the number of chargebacks there will be reduced and will be reduced drastically. So always important to communicate to customers clearly. When we talk about chargebacks, there are risks associated with chargebacks, and those risks are really an important element in terms of reputation, in terms of revenue, in terms of risk mitigation, and so on and so forth. But remember though, when we talk about chargebacks, you have instances that can hurt your business in numerous ways. And I want to go back to what I told you about the trifecta in terms of demographics, geography, but also chronology. Let's quickly explore the risks associated with chargebacks. First, you have lost money. You have also frozen money. So I want to first talk about the lost money. So if someone successfully files a chargeback against you, then your business will lose the money from the transaction, even if the customer still has the product. And this is not really good because you are talking about a sort of a deficit here, right? A deficit in your cost of goods sold, a deficit in your income statement, a deficit on your balance sheet, a deficit in your overall financial statements. And when we talk about the deficit, we are also talking about the going concern ability of your business as a whole. In other words, your business may not be able to be in business for a while, may not be able to operate after a while. If you lose too much money, this is just logical. You also have a frozen money. So if a chargeback dispute happens, it may result in money being held. Even if you eventually win the chargeback dispute, delaying your ability to access the money from the transaction can impact your business. I mean, we know how business operates. You have a delta between a delta in your cash inflows and cash outflows from the time you receive money from your customers to the time you pay your different expenses. If the delta is too long, if the timing is too long, you might need to apply for a line of credit or actually find other ways to fund your business in the meantime. So if your money is frozen and your money is frozen, for quite a while, this could have a serious impact on your cash flows, your cash inflows and cash outflows. So this is another sinister way. Chargebacks have like a sinister way. Chargebacks can impact your business in the short run, but also in the long run. And if you're in a business where you need cash every single day, having your money frozen even for a day can really impact your cash flows big time. Another risk that a chargeback can actually inflict upon your business is a lost merchant account. So if you have too many chargebacks, your merchant account provider may decide to sever ties with your business. They will not want to be associated with a company that's either fraudulent or incorporates poor payment processing security measures. You have to really understand when we talk about payment processing in general, this is a tightly regulated industry, and you have things like AML and anti-money laundering, and so anything that touches money, the players are really strict when it comes to regulations. So institutions are very strict, banks are strict. You have merchant account providers are strict. They want to make sure they want to run a risk-free operation. That's what it is. So you want to watch this aspect of things in your business a lot more closely. And another way a chargeback can impact your business is through higher transaction processing rates. So if you lose your agreements with your credit card processor, you may be forced to partner with payment processing companies that specialize in what's called high risk clients. And this actually, when you think about it, can result sooner or later in higher transaction fees. So, and this will hurt your bottom line because the more you pay, the more you actually, the more you pay, the less you earn. This is just logical. It's important, therefore, for you to really implement right now controls and processes to make sure chargebacks are really limited or even rare. I mean, there are ways to actually make sure that chargebacks are never occur to your business, but it's one of those things where it takes time to establish yourself in the business, to establish yourself vis-a-vis your clients, so they understand how you roll and you understand how they roll. And it takes time, but once you have reached that level, you can be good to go. But the bottom line here is that everything revolves around your reputation, how you run your business, how you interact with your clients, how you derive revenue. Let's talk about how to reduce your business's chances of a chargeback. And by doing that, you are able to increase your revenue potential down the road, right? So if you want to reduce your chances of receiving a chargeback request, it is critical to incorporate a few measures. And so I think I've told you before that it all goes down to how you run your business in the first place. But in today's conversation, I want to share with you 5 ways for you to implement, 5 ways you can run your business to really reduce the risks of a chargeback. First of all, you want to use your trading name. So some business owners make the mistake of using a holding company name on their merchant account. If you don't use your trading name, a customer may not recognize your charge on their statement and file a chargeback. So that's what I was just telling you a little earlier when I mentioned DBA, doing business as. If you have a DBA, then you need to really let the customer know exactly beforehand that, the charge on their credit card will come from a so-and-so name, so that when they see your name or they see that name, they're not really scared as hell and really be forced to file a chargeback. This will help you. This will help them too. And so that's the first thing you want to do. You want to use your trading name whenever possible. Second thing you want to do here is that you want to really use your payment processor's tools. And many payment processing companies provide security tools to their clients, such as multi-factor authentication, zip code authentication, and more. And you want to use those tools to reduce online fraud because, and this goes back to what I said earlier about chronology, but also demographics and geography. If you are able to have MFA, multi-factor authentication implemented, you are able to reduce, significantly the risk of a chargeback. And this will help your business too, because you are actually establishing a sturdier layer of trust, if you will, vis-a-vis your clients. They will trust your business more. You will trust your clients also, and that will really help you in terms of revenue. Okay. So this is an important element. You want to use the tools. Now, some of those tools might be convoluted. Some of those tools might be a little complicated. They might actually require a steep learning curve at the beginning. And don't say, well, don't be lazy. Don't say, listen, no, I mean, no, this is too complicated. I don't want to go into that route. I don't want to go into that direction. No. You want to learn, and that learning process will help you out down the road. That's kind of important to think about. Another way to actually avoid a chargeback is actually implement check ID or signature on cards. So always check the ID or signature on a card, especially if you suspect that the person is using the card fraudulently. And this happens when you have in-person card purchases, and you also want to run an honest business. Everything goes back to honesty, right? Remember, in the end, integrity is going to be the only thing that counts. So using honest product descriptions and policies can help you reduce the chances of unhappy customers, which can lower your chargeback frequency. It's one of those things where you want to really, again, it goes back to what I said about the relationship you're trying to really cultivate with your customers. So if you treat them honestly, if you are honest, if you run your business honestly, you are going to attract honest customers. You want to keep documentation. So make sure to keep records of payments, sales, and other key figures. You may need this during a chargeback dispute. So it's one of those things where if a customer is really gung-ho about getting his or her money back, and they have filed a chargeback request, documentation is the only thing that's going to save you. Okay. And so if you don't use the 5 tips, any of the 5 tips that I gave you, it's really important to start protecting your merchant account. You don't want a lack of action to result in lost revenue or a lost merchant account. So the 5 things that I told you, don't just recap them there. Recap them here. You want to use your trading name, use your payment processors tools, check ID or signature on cards. You want to actually run an honest business, and you want to keep documentation. Okay. So frankly, it can be difficult to contest a chargeback once a customer has submitted it. Credit card companies are very friendly to their users, which means that you'll have to provide significant evidence that the chargeback was fraudulent. Make sure to save any payment documentation or communication with the customer. This may become very helpful, and it's one of those things where you have to make sure that you have the proper proper paperwork, if you will, to make sure that when you go to a provider, a credit card provider, you increase your chances of actually winning the dispute. Thank you so much for your attention. Really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I just had a quick convo with you about chargebacks, and I give you the overview and then the recap. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.